世界をつなぐ
Sergei Tikhomirov, Lightning researcher at Chaincode Labs, New York City, USA.
In your dissertation of 2020, you did research on the security and privacy of blockchain protocols and applications. One of your conclusions was that a moderately resourceful adversary, controlling only 2% of the total node count, can carry out a wormhole attack and attacks against value, privacy, and relationship anonymity with high success probability. Does this problem still exist?
Short answer, yes.
Is Garry Kasparov the greatest chess player of all time?
Maybe. I would say yes.
Satoshi Nakamoto described a thought experiment which described a base metal as scarce as gold with one special magical property. It can be transported over a communications channel. Did you quote this thought experiment in your dissertation in 2020 at the University of Luxembourg?
Yes.
The Red Square is one of the oldest and largest squares in Moscow, owing to its historical significance and the adjacent historical buildings. It is regarded as one of the most famous squares in the world. Should they change the name into the Orange Square?
No.
Stephen David Levitt is an American economist and co-author of the best-selling book Freakonomics. Did the book redefine the way you look to the modern world?
Yes.
A shot of vodka a day keeps the doctor away.
No.
Caviar, also called black gold, consists of the unfertilized eggs of the sturgeon and is considered a delicacy. Did you know that the first caviar eaters believed that caviar would improve their stamina and potency?
No.
Running along the luxury French border is the thing I miss most about my time in Luxembourg.
Yes.
I already bought my ticket to Bitcoin Conference 2023.
Not yet.
Are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
No.
Welcome to the Connected World Weekly Podcast. I'm Edward.
And I'm Steph. We are ready to take you with us into the beautiful world of the Lightning Network.
Enjoy the ride.
And this is episode 30. I like that number of Connected World. Steph, how are you?
Edward. I'm fine. How was your weekend at the 21 meeting in Essen?
That was really great. It was the warmest day in the whole week, Saturday. And it was exactly like we wanted, of course, because on a warm day you want to be at the beach, and it was at the beach in
nice,
Germany.
Mate.
Yeah, that was
I
really
can see
nice.
your skin is a little red, so you had a bit of a sunburn, right? Or?
Yeah, I was using a lot of sunscreen.
Nice.
And it didn't work, of course. No, it was 34 degrees or something, so it is that was really hot.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
it
nice.
was great with barbecue food. Great, and a lot of things you could also buy with sets. And also Setnik. That's he's in a lot of rings by the way.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct. Yeah,
And he is also an artist because he sold some artwork which he made,
cool.
some wooden panels.
Nice.
That was really great. And I saw
Nice.
Jury bought one. So it's in the group, I think. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
really? Oh,
He shared it in
because
the Connected World group.
I saw some pictures, but I didn't saw them all.
And we shared some videos of the and I also took a sample with Lightning in it.
Nice.
One guy made it, and this was really a terrific moment to be with Lightning enthusiasts and to make some new friends of other communities. So that's great. Yeah.
Nice.
And
good job, man.
in July, it's there's also a meetup in the Netherlands, in Arnhem.
Yeah, I saw it in Arnhem, right?
Yeah, indeed.
I think it's. I don't know if it's the weekend of the Austrian Grand Prix. Because
so
I'm attending the Austrian. Yeah, but I think it's the weekend after that weekend. So I will have to look in my agenda. But I really, I had a bit of FOMO because I saw all all the pictures, and of course you met one of our community members also, Ivet, and
indeed,
so,
Ivet, great, and a lot of people also who went in our group. So perhaps some other time we can meet each other again and work together, because you went to another meetup the other day, and I wasn't there.
It was last week. No, but it was a Dutch meetup. So although there are always people from different countries, but it's mostly Dutch. So, but it was nice. It was also very warm, by the way, and but it's always good to pay,
of course,
with your own satoshis at the place, right? So,
and the 2nd of July in Arnhem, I'm curious if the weather is also good. And
let's hope so.
Yeah.
Hey, but we have to show the people something really cool, right?
I have it prepared.
You are going to show it, so
and let's talk about it. Because what did we do all this time? Well, we all the team members of Connect the World, so Jury. But also Ramon did a lot of work, Laptopman also. And I think Ramon put the most time in it. It is really great because we've made a website. It's almost finished, but it's finished, but there are some things that could maybe don't work or work. But I'm going to show the working website and we're all going to look at it. And we're really happy for it, that it exists. Perhaps some of you already seen it, but here it is. So if you come in on connecttheworld.live, then you see our famous background, of course, from the podcast. That's a most recent upload, which you see here, and you can view it also. And below this, you see the all episodes of Connect the World. So I can pass through it and I can view it. That's great, of course.
Nice pick, Alex Bosworth.
Philip Shepard, of course. I really like this one. I've recorded a quick talk about it. Renee Aaron made amazing widgets, and we have it also here. You can support and donate, because that's what we always say, support and donate us. If you like us, and you can do it here on the website. For example, 1,000 sets, and then Steph is awesome. Well, and everybody else also, of course. Next, and then you see the QR code. This is great. Done. And then you see the confetti, man.
Nice animations.
Yeah, I really like the simplicity of it. And below you can see all the projects that Connect the World and Satoshi Radio involve. For example, the Satoshi Radio podcast is Dutch only, and the Nutcase, I'm saying the Nutcase. Those are videos in Dutch. but it's nice to see. Yeah, you have to translate it. The Rings of Fire, it's counting already, and the crew, of course, with all participants, all channels. The capacity.
Spoiler alert!
Yeah, and this one we're gonna talk about later, the Daily Moon. But first, let's go to the Ring of Fire, and I'm gonna show it here. If you hit the Ring of Fire, you come on this page, and there are two articles. One about how we start building the Satoshi Radio Ring of Fire community, and the other, this one is about some history lessons. And below you see all the I'm gonna see all the rings that are balanced, because there are a lot, and
the logos,
the logos, and of course the map Jury made, amazing map. Again, you can see here how many channels are open at this time. And you can see between which countries, and this is always great to see, and of course the numbers beneath. And our first episode is shown here that will explain, if somebody doesn't know, the concept of Ring of Fire, and of course a donation button. And this one is only for the Ring of Fire, and you can donate here some sets, 1,000 or more. You can make it custom, of course. Ring of Fire is awesome or amazing, and again the QR. Well, it's so simple, and the confetti. That's what I like.
Yeah, really nice.
Well, and the Daily Moon, we're going to go there now. If you hit the Daily Moon, you're coming here. And Daily Moon is also directly accessible through tdm.news. That's a direct link to this page. And with the Daily Moon, we are already active also on Twitter and Telegram with the same name. Our goal is to share all the Lightning-related news out there. And Roman, Laptopman, and I work daily with a team. And they deserve credits, of course. And you too, Steph, you're also in it. So you collect also the news. Two previous guests from the show, also known as Jesse de Wit from episode 20, and El Professor, the founder of the Latinotus community, from episode 27. Which I also met in Germany. Yvette and Slaapiehoofd also are in the team. And we collect the news, make the news items, and fill it on Twitter, Telegram, and on the website. And in the future also some other people will write articles. So this is really something we're very... excited about. I'm going to show, for example, an article from Rusoft, our friend who made the Igniter script. And I'm going to search it. Yeah, it's here. And there it is. It's information from the podcast, but also something more. So that's what I like, that it's in depth. And here you can donate for the Daily Moon. Also a nice widget.
So this is about all the questions we have asked within the podcast, but also some additional questions or info about it, right?
And it's easier to read also than instead of the show notes, right? And then you can explain a little bit more. So indeed, these are the questions, and also the questions that we didn't ask. So that's interesting. And all our guests take a lot of effort in answering questions, also for the article. So read it. It's great that they put the effort in it. We all do, of course, but that's great. And if I go back to the Daily Moon website, you see here the articles, the Lightning updates also are shared, and this is what we're very excited about here beneath, the weekly Moon on YouTube. And what is it? I'm gonna just start it, right? This is a spoiler, of course. Makes a lot of noise. What do you think, Steph?
Oh, it's so professional, mate.
Well, it's
I really
it's
like
entertaining,
it,
right?
It's crazy.
Yeah. And what is it?
It sure is.
I'm going to explain. In the coming episodes of Connect the World, we will highlight only a few updates about the news. So it's going to be a little bit smaller, different than we did till now. And if you want to stay fully up to date, you can follow or watch the news broadcast on YouTube or Bitcoin TV. And that will look like what I just showed you. Yeah. What do you think, Steph? It's a lot, right?
Yeah, but it looks so nice, man. And I really have to thank the team again, especially Ramon and also Jury, who did put a lot of effort in building it and getting all the statistics in it, and of course Jury for already creating the map, which is what we are about, right? Connect the world and seeing all those connection between different countries. It's amazing. And also that Daily Moon. I think it's a great concept, and I need to give you and Ramon the credits, because I thought, well, guys, it's all voluntary, and we don't have enough. I don't have enough time to put in all the work, and you guys did, and you nailed it. That's for sure.
Thanks, man. Thanks, and you're also on it. We all are on it. The crew. All the crew members, us, and you can read our stories, and also hit us up with an email or on some other platform. Contact us if you have a question or something. Then you're all able to get in contact with us. So just take a look at the website, discover everything for yourself, and we hope you like it. So I'm going to de-share my screen.
So let's get on with the show, Edward.
Indeed.
Who is our guest for today?
Well, I'm very glad he's here. It's Sergei. Sergei is a Lightning postdoctoral researcher from Chaincode Labs. And I've been to a seminar there, so it's great to talk about Chaincode Labs and also about everything he's up to. So can't wait.
Really nice talk, but first we have to talk a little bit about the statistics, Edward,
Indeed.
and about our Rings of Fire community. And then the second part will be with Sergei.
Yeah.
Conecte o mundo.
Yeah, so it was already a bit spoiled, but it doesn't matter. Last week, we had a little over 35.3 Bitcoin pushed into the Lightning Network. And this week, it's 35.8. So we added a half a Bitcoin.
Nice.
With around 1,240 members participating in over 160 rings.
Yeah. And we're now at block height 741,550. And the network as a whole, there are 16,939 nodes, a little bit less than last week. And, almost 4,000 Bitcoin in the network. That's a lot. It will stay there for some time and then perhaps it will grow. And value of today.
Yeah, 1 million Satoshis is getting you $205, 196 euros, and 1,370 Chinese yuan.
Yeah.
Conectează lumea.
And then some highlighted news updates from last week from the Daily Moon, brought to you by the Daily Moon.
And I need the jingle now, Edward. I need
Daily
the
Moon jingle. Yeah. Indeed. We highlighted 3. Let's start with Jack Dorsey. Jack Dorsey TBD. I was reading into it because I didn't fully understand what he was up to. But TBD was founded by Jack Dorsey to build blockchain-based financial services. And he announced Web 5, an extra decentralized web platform. They're building a Lightning Network infrastructure, they say. And Jack Dorsey stated that this will likely be our most important contribution to the internet. And that's very interesting.
Good statement.
Yeah, indeed. And Coin Corner, that's nice because I have it here. I didn't open it yet, but I have here the bolt card from Coin Corner. Really great. I'm going to try it out. It's powered by NFC. Talked about it some episodes earlier, but now they added something new. Within your Coin Corner account, they've added stacking sub-accounts to save sets for your kids, a house, a car, or some big vacation.
Nice.
We all want to have, and you can do it all in the account they made. And then pay with LNURL Bitfinex. Bitfinex enabled LNURL payments on the Bitfinex mobile app. And they stated that thanks to adding this feature, they're helping people around the globe to gain financial freedom. LNURL is, of course, a nice invention, right? We use it a lot.
Yeah.
Also on the website now. So do you want to read more and stay up to date about everything related to Lightning, the news and updates? Then head over to tdm.news and follow the Daily Moon on Twitter or Telegram. Links are in the show notes.
And the messages also automatically are posted within our Connect the World Telegram group, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So if people if people want to follow them, you can also check the Connect the World Telegram group and click on the account from the Daily Moon, and you can then join that channel.
Yeah, that's great.
Conecta el mundo.
It's a full part 1, this. Because I think it was last week. Yeah, I recorded a QuickTalk because in April of this year, I attended the Chaincode Labs Lightning Protocol seminar and wanted to record this for this episode. I've attended with a lot of other developers and Lightning enthusiasts, and this was an enormous deep dive for me, but also very inspirational. And during that seminar, I worked together with ZeroBTC. That's That's a young developer from Bitreveal. And last week I recorded this and talked with him about his experience, mine experience, and takeaways from the Lightning seminar, and about his vision on the Lightning Network. And I've asked him, I have a snippet here prepared, and I asked him, is there some topic or something in particular that was totally new for you? Let's listen to it. Is there some topic throughout the 5 weeks that we participated, or something in particular that was totally new for you?
That's a good one.
Everything. No.
Yeah, exactly. Everything really was new. Like I just jumped in to find out what it was. I had to go over, of course, Mastering Bitcoin by Andreas Antonopoulos. And then I also followed along with Jimmy Song's Programming Bitcoin. As I knew a bit of Python at the time already. I didn't know much C or C++, which I still have a long way to go before I can even contribute to anything meaningful. I had to learn and go over, for the first time, abstract algebra, finite fields, cryptography, the basics of, introduction to cryptography before joining. But it was all worth doing, as it allowed me to grasp the concepts and topics in general, at least get a high level understanding, get the gist of it. So that it will allow me to go further and go deeper, to really understand the fundamental and the first principles of what it is that we're trying to figure out.
Yeah, that's great. If you want to know more, then attend the seminar from Chaincode Labs. Check it in our show notes. The links are all there, and also to the QuickTalk. It was great talking to him.
Nice guy.
Yeah, indeed.
Well.
Yeah, and I'm going to pass the book over to you, man.
Thanks, man. Hey, let's take a look at the Rings forecast. We received a nice tip from the Satoshi Radio Rings of Fire member Gides, and we want to share it with you because it could happen to others. So Gides, he was part of the 1 million Satoshi's 15th ring, asked us to mention a warning to people to use two-factor authentication on their Lightning node. He uses Google Authenticator, and after a recovery of his phone, he couldn't log into his Umbra node. So we could help him, luckily, with a fix in this time. But it shows how important it is to always think of a backup solution. Yeah. So if you are using those 2FA and other maybe password manager, it always make sure you have a backup. Yeah. Otherwise, you're doomed.
Single point of failure, right?
Yeah. So last week we balanced 2 rings at what? The 1 million Satoshi's 44th ring. And this was not balanced. This one was balanced actually. Just after finishing his ring, the first Rings of Fire, Dieter paper node felt gorgeous and decided to try the ringleader role. Unfortunately, one participant was plagued with some issues because of the last Umbrella update, so it took a while to connect the ring. Luckily, after that was resolved with the support of Cieniega, Dieter Papernode got the Igniter script working quickly and so was able to balance the ring fast and clean. So well done. And then we have the 500k 37th ring. This one was not balanced, but it was finished. So one of our newest community members, Jorian, felt lucky and immediately went for the role as ringleader. Somehow someone got their public keys mixed up, which caused quite a confusion. After that was solved, Jorian successfully probed the Igniter script, but unfortunately when he tried to balance the ring, it appeared some of the participants already routed too much. So we were not able to balance this one. Still, I think it's brave since Jorian did very well as a ringleader, and I hope he has better luck next time. But I always say when we have such a fresh Ring of Fire and already have a lot of routing, you always need to look at the bright side, right? So the ring is attractive enough to some transactions. So that's nice, and but unfortunately no balance channels. But obviously every participant can do it by itself.
That's right.
Within these rings, we had node operators from Great Britain, Germany, Holland, Canada, and Mexico.
Nice. So
nice one.
We've got this out of the way. Thanks, Steph. And let's go to the lightning notes then.
Let's do it.
All right.
verbindt die wereld.
Make sure to secure your home network. So change default passwords and use two-factor authentication where possible. And keep your software up to date. It's also very important. Please keep in mind that the whole Lightning network is very experimental. Software like MyNode, Umbrel, Raspberry Blitz, for example, and many others, and LND also, are still in beta phase. Don't blindly run terminal commands on your node if you don't understand them yourself, and especially when prefixed with sudo. And the last one is also very important. Don't use Satoshis that you're not willing to lose. So if you're not aware of all security considerations, then read into it. Educate yourself, read articles, ask for help in Telegram groups with high reputation like ours, and listen to podcasts and learn by doing. Otherwise, don't participate.
Also, you can stay informed by following us on Twitter. You can find us at Satoshi Radio ROF. And follow our Lightning leader, Johnny Kiyashu. Join our Telegram groups, Satoshi Radio, Ring of Fire, and Connect the World. And check our website, satoshi.radio. It would be nice for you to be part of our Amboss community. You can find us there on Satoshi Radio. And like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Use Podcasting 2.0 to listen to Connect the World. And you can check Sato Trading for the current value. You can find all this information, of course, also in the show notes as well.
All right, let's get on to the show.
Conecta el mundo.
Well, welcome, Sergei. Good to have you on our podcast.
Thank you for having me on.
Good to have you, Sergei.
I'm good, thank you.
Really great.
And Sergei, as a scientist, is it difficult to answer only yes or no to questions?
It's very difficult because it's always nuanced. You always have to add something on top of that.
Yeah,
there are multiple sides to stories, so
exactly.
That's
Because I saw you struggling, and then you said a couple of times, well, in a short way yes, or in a short way no, or oh, nice.
Well, we can elaborate on that wormhole attack question, I think, because that's an interesting question.
Sure.
Maybe you can because you said 2% of the total node count can carry out a wormhole attack. That's not much, right? 2%?
Well, it depends on how you look at it, because if you take the 2% of the highest capitalized nodes, or like the most important nodes, that's quite a lot. I mean, it's not that this 2% figure doesn't mean any 2% of nodes. It means you have to choose specifically the very important 2% of nodes, and then they have quite a bit of power in that regard. And of course, it's kind of hard, I would assume, to compromise 2% of nodes, because if we have, you know better how many nodes we have in the other segment, how many thousands of nodes we have. So 2% of that are what?
And it's getting more every week.
Yeah, more than 19,000
every week. So I would say that this is the general idea that if we have a centralized topology, which we do in Lightning Network, then the central nodes have somewhat more power under some conditions for some attacks. Of course, it doesn't break the protocol completely, because we have cryptography in our toolbox. It protects the integrity of our payments. But in regards to privacy or censorship resistant, it doesn't always work ideally, and especially if we have these central nodes. And specifically with regards to this wormhole attack, it's one specific attack that was described previously in the literature, and in our paper we quantified more precisely what this means. And the attack basically is more of an economic attack rather than privacy attack, I would say, depending on how you look at it. And the gist of it is that if the attacker controls multiple nodes within the same payment path, it can recognize that it's forwarding the same payment and forward the pre-image to another node that the attacker controls without going through the intermediary nodes in the middle of the route. Yeah. And the economic effect of this is that the nodes in the middle are attacked, kind of, because they don't have the fees that they were supposed to get. So the attacker basically takes the fees of the nodes in the middle, because he can forward the pre-image out of band to its own nodes. And we quantified how likely it is under various conditions, or how many nodes are compromised and which nodes are compromised.
Yeah, this is the answer a scientist will give, Edward, at the yes or no questions.
Exactly.
And I saw on Twitter that you used to run. I also ask it in the 10 questions, of course, along the Luxembourg and French border. How many times a week did you run then, or was it just
Perhaps a few times a week. While I was living in Luxembourg and I was doing my dissertation in University of Luxembourg, the campus of the university is located just at the French border, like one of the campuses where I was working and living too. So when I went for a jog, I had my usual route that went along the border with France, and sometimes I would cross into France. And I like that a lot. It's very picturesque. It's very tranquil and lots of beautiful nature there.
Yeah, you posted also kind of some pictures of the route you took, and it looked pretty nice.
Yeah, it's great that if you're there and can do that, it's healthy. And I was also thinking because you're a researcher, but perhaps you also like to pay with Satoshis or with Lightning. Do you notice something about the adoption in your neighborhood? Are there any merchants that you can use Lightning nearby?
So to be honest, I haven't been looking specifically for that. Just yesterday or the day before, I was having a walk and I just randomly noticed a sign which says "Buy Bitcoin here with cash" on some like local grocery store. I haven't noticed that much adoption, but maybe it is somewhere out there. I did pay with Lightning a few times. I wouldn't say I'm a regular Lightning user. I'm just living in the well-developed country with a financial system that allows me to just use dollars. I understand that many people in the world are not in such privileged positions, and this is them who we develop this technology for primarily, at least how I think about it. I did try out Lightning. I did try to run a node for my research purposes and tried out a few mobile wallets and paid for coffee or beer at a conference just to try it out. But I'm not using it regularly.
Just played with it a couple of times.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hey, we have all kinds of questions for you. You work at Chaincode Labs, which we also have some questions about. But can you maybe, in a nutshell, tell us what's your role at Chaincode Labs? You're obviously a researcher, but what's your role within Chaincode Labs?
So my role is entitled postdoctoral researcher, and that's kind of exactly what I do. And I would say that here in Chaincode, some people or most of the people are more of a developers. They write code for Bitcoin Core or Lightning protocol, something that will be merged into the repositories themselves. And there are a few people, myself included, who do more high-level thinking about how we should develop these protocols and what properties should they have to be secure, to be private, to be economically compatible, and all that stuff. So in particular, during the last few weeks or months, I've been exploring the jamming problem in the Lightning Network, trying to understand how we can avoid this spam attack and how we can avoid this this problem that the attacker can block other people's channels relatively cheaply by just initiating a payment and not finalizing the payment, and the liquidity gets stuck in the middle, and the nodes in the middle don't get fees or just have their capital blocked. So I think, and many of Lightning developers think, this is an important problem, and we're trying to approach this in a scientific way again, try to write down exactly what are our options here, what are different variables, what are the probabilities of this happening or that happening, and hopefully if we write down the model in a very strict way, we do some simulations, we write some formulas and theorems, and we'll come up with some solutions, and we'll be able to say, okay, this is better than everything else, or it will be maybe even more likely, it will be all trade-offs, and depending on the conditions, like if we assume that the probability of attack is this, then this is the optimal way to pay fees, who pays whom, or if we assume that the attacker is like very powerful, here is what we should do. And this in turn should inform the developers of the protocol and actually implement these new fee schemes or spam protection mechanisms or whatever we come up with. So this is what researchers do. And as an outcome of our work, it may be some informal blog posts or talks or something like that. And also it may be an academic paper that would be submitted to a conference, would go through peer review where other scientists read this paper anonymously and give their feedback and decide whether it should be accepted or not. And if enough of them, if the majority or something, 2 out of 3 usually, vote to accept it, then it's accepted at the conference, and you get to go to some beautiful place and present it and discuss it with your fellow researchers. So that's how it works.
Cool. Okay, so
nice.
a very
it's very important.
Very important job you have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we are we have all kinds of questions for you, but it has to be in the 21 minutes, of course. It's a bit technical, Edward, so I hope I don't lose you guys at some of the questions and answers you will give to them, Sergei. But I will try my utmost to keep up with you. But if you are ready, guys, we would like to enter the 21 minutes. Are you ready, Sergei and Edward?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I'm ready.
Heel goed. Well.
So we start off with an easy question, Steph.
Thank you.
What was your first experience with the Lightning Network, and do you still know what you did at that time?
I don't remember exactly when I heard about the Lightning Network. I learned about Bitcoin in 2013, and I've been following the space since. So Lightning kind of naturally emerged from the conversation because it was discussed starting from like 2015 at least, maybe even earlier. Maybe it was not even called Lightning at the day. Just the idea of payment channels, the idea of putting the payments of the chain to make up more block space in the blocks. So I've been familiar with the idea for a long time. Regarding the Lightning itself, I think it was in 2017 when I wrapped up more or less my then ongoing project or my then ongoing paper in the University of Luxembourg. And I was looking for a subject and I wanted to focus on the Bitcoin space, but the Bitcoin core itself seemed too kind of strict or restrictive or too development focused. I wanted to find an adjacent topic that would provide more freedom and more open questions, and Lightning seemed ideal in that regard. So on the one hand, you stay in the Bitcoin ecosystem, but on the other hand, you don't have that many restrictions on what you can update and what you can explore, many more open questions and challenges. So I decided to, for the rest of my term in Luxembourg for 3 years, basically, to study Lightning Network specifically, and that's what I did since, starting from early 2018, I believe.
Cool. And do you run a Lightning node yourself? And if so, what is your strategy with it? Is it only for educational purposes, or?
I haven't been running a node recently. I did run a node as part of my prior research about probing the channels. I did some experiments on the test network, maybe some limited experiments on the live network as well. So I'm not running it regularly. I definitely don't try to, earn money and be a professional routing node. I just leave it to the professionals. So yeah, I launch a node when I need to do something for research purposes, but it's not running 24/7.
Okay.
And this is a whole other question, but what can be improved on the Lightning Network so it can provide better quality of service and discouraging monopolies?
Well, that's a very good question. I don't have an exact answer to that, of course. And one way to think about it would be that if we are pro-freedom people and we don't want to tell other people what to do and we don't like to be told what to do ourselves, this means that if there are economic incentives to establish large nodes and establish monopolies, so be it. It's kind of, you cannot fight economic incentives, or you only have some limited power when fighting these incentives. And perhaps our goal as developers and researchers is to construct the protocol in such a way that even under such conditions, it is secure and private and works as well as possible. Maybe we could introduce some, protocol features or additional improvements that would discourage monopolies. I'm not exactly sure what that could be. That's more a question for economists, perhaps. But I think our power in this regard is very limited, and we cannot just force everyone to spread out their liquidity evenly across everyone else. We would have some centralized or quote unquote centralized or more professional providers that are running this as their business, as opposed to small amateur or small casual users who also do that, but not 24/7, not every day. So I think we should just develop protocol under these conditions. And I think we can do, because we have cryptography, we can still invent a protocol that would work well and provide high reliability, high privacy, and so on.
Mm-hmm. And in what way can a Lightning node evolve in the future and also have some other purposes than only to make payment transactions?
I'm not sure this is even a good idea to put some extra functionality on top of Lightning Network apart from payments, because it was designed from the beginning to be a payment network, and many design decisions were made specifically for that purpose. That very construction of the multi-hop payment, where we lock up some liquidity and then we'll release the liquidity based on the pre-image being revealed. All this makes sense in the context of payments. If I just want to send a message to you, I don't have to go through all this dance with HTLCs and stuff. And I'm aware there are some projects that try to implement messaging on top of Lightning, and for me it looks kind of abusing the protocol. But again, like, who am I to tell people what to do the protocol for? If they're ready to pay the market fees for that, that's their use case. Okay, I'm kind of, maybe in the long run, when financial applications and just monetary application gain more steam, they would be prepared to pay higher fees than messaging applications, and messaging applications will be kind of naturally priced out. Or maybe if you want to send some very important message and you're willing to pay for that, the market fee rate, then it's also okay. But I don't think from the developer standpoint, it makes sense to deliberately introduce features that would make, WhatsApp replacement or Telegram replacement on top of Lightning. It's just not using it for the right purpose.
Okay.
Yeah. And we have two models at the moment, value for value model and pay per use model that triggers the incentive to use the Lightning Network. What other type of model could be used or implemented in Lightning?
Well, to be honest, I haven't been thinking about business models or like value models for a long time. For me, these two models don't seem mutually exclusive. We can do both, or depending on your use case, you can either, develop a paywall on your website and ask users to pay some amount of Satoshis to read your article, or you can do a podcast and users can stream sats to you. To be fair, also, ultimately, it doesn't seem to me a good idea to make every move or every click on the internet a financial game. So it would just, it would be unpleasant for me personally to use such internet. Now we have the cookie pop-ups and email subscription pop-ups popping up everywhere. Then we will have Lightning paywalls popping up, like pay 10 sats here and 20 sats there. And it imposes a mental burden on the users, because every question, I have to ask, is this article worth 10 Satoshis? I don't know. It's kind of it stops my experience. That's not very convenient. But ultimately, whatever the market develops, for me personally, it seems that Lightning, again, in the long run, its killer feature or its main use case may not necessarily be the micro payments, like very small payments, but the fact that payments have very low latency and the payments can settle basically instantly or within seconds under good network conditions, as opposed to waiting for 10 or more minutes for a Bitcoin block. This, I think, what makes Lightning unique, and this is what the selling point is. So fast payments rather than small payments necessarily.
And you just said that you don't have any business plans on top of your mind, but do you have plans on building a Lightning-related startup one day? And if so, what kind of product would you like to make? And I think the answer is no, but maybe we have some entrepreneurs listening to this podcast. You're a researcher. What are the things that people can look into if they want to start a Lightning-related startup?
Yeah, again, maybe I'm not the right person to answer this question, because as far as I understand, entrepreneurs and researchers have kind of different mindsets, in the sense that from a researcher's standpoint, you want to go to the deep, the fundamental reasons of why things happen and try to understand what's going on in the under the hood, why things are the way they are and how we can make them better. While the entrepreneurial mindset, as long as I understand it, is mostly focused on the customers and the revenue and the metrics. Do whatever. If this brings you money, if it brings you users, that is right. It doesn't matter that much what is under the hood. If it works, then it works. So for me, it's kind of a little bit uncomfortable thinking in this mindset of let's just implement whatever. If users come, then it's the right thing. But of course, people can do it, and I admire entrepreneurs. I admire their courage and the willingness to take risks and potentially depart their traditional careers to launch something and to invent something. Maybe I will go this route. Maybe it will be not a startup, as in Silicon Valley style startup, rather than just some independent business. I'm not sure yet, but
do you see them then as an opposite party, the entrepreneurs, or do you think that's also needed for researchers to work together with them to create something more future-proof?
Or like a field test or something?
That's a good question. So again, I mean, there are two ways to look at it. On the one hand, it's important that the technology that we develop is ultimately useful for real people, and this is what the entrepreneurs could tell us, that what their users are willing to pay for, what the users are willing to do, and so on. But again, if we only look through this entrepreneurial lens, our view may be too short-sighted, because lots of factors influence users' behaviors in the short run. It may be the case that users behave this way just under the current economic or financial conditions, and in 2 years the conditions will change, the users will change. And so it's a good idea to listen to what happens in the real world or in real businesses, but then again, I would take it with a grain of salt, and I would still add on top of that some fundamental reasoning and the idea that we want to develop electronic peer-to-peer cash as our ultimate goal, the way I see it.
And well, the layer 2 fee economics looks different than from layer 1. Lightning Network makes fees very dependent on the transaction value again. Like in traditional finance, it's common to charge fees as a percentage of the transaction value. And layer 2 reintroduce the value semantics into protocols. Relaying a payment requires liquidity, and intermediary nodes pay more in opportunity costs of locked capital when transferring $1 million, for example, as opposed to $1. Do you think routing will be as profitable a business in the future like mining is now?
I hope it will be profitable. Difficult to compare it with mining, but this is what we're building for. Like, if Lightning nodes have a reliable source of revenue and they can monetize their expertise and their work by taking fees from users, it seems a better outcome for me, rather than pushing them into some more shady ways of monetization, such as selling user data or spying on their users. It's just better to pay for a service with money, honestly, preserve your privacy, and just go on with your day, rather than expecting your data to be leaked somewhere. So I hope it will be profitable, and I don't see any fundamental reasons why it cannot be profitable. But
so for the right incentives, then indeed.
And there are a lot of developments in using the Lightning Network as a multi-asset network. There's Terra, for example, an open protocol made possible by Taproot for transferring non-Bitcoin tokens into Bitcoin transaction and Lightning payments. Do you think these developments are important for the Lightning Network to grow further?
Yes and no. Again, I mean, I cannot just answer yes or no. I have two like
you
ways
can take your time on this one. This is no yes or no question.
Sure. So I don't have there are two ways to look at this. So on the one hand, if we put Bitcoin into context, if we compare it to the crypto blockchain ecosystem as a total, we see that during the past few years we have seen a rapid increase in stablecoins usage, and lots of people are using stablecoins. We may argue, they're not decentralized, they're not properly secured or collateralized. Some of them collapse time to time, but the demand is there, and lots of people are using this. And this is not something that Bitcoin can provide, at least natively on top of its platform. But I'm not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing, because on the one hand, the demand is there, and it could be argued that, okay, if we implement, say, a stable coin on top of Lightning using Taro or some other protocol, it could be useful for people, sure. But on the other hand, if we have two assets circulating in the same network, it kind of invites us to speculate and exchange one asset for another, which doesn't look very productive to me. I mean, I understand why markets exist. I understand that the free market helps find the right price for the asset, all that stuff. That's kind of true. But then I think sometimes it's kind of blows over the top. It becomes too much speculation, too little real value. And this is what we see in many other blockchains, such as Ethereum, which I respect in general what they do, their engineering, but it turns out that their use cases are mostly exchanging tokens for tokens, and this doesn't seem like something that can bring freedom to billions of people in the world. So I think we should be careful with that. Of course, I cannot restrict people. I cannot forbid anyone from developing any assets on top of Lightning. And perhaps even if we develop some kind of stablecoin or other additional asset on top of Lightning or Bitcoin, still it doesn't mean that we would have this speculation-driven DeFi ecosystem immediately because we still don't have like rich smart contracts or statefulness in Bitcoin. Maybe that's a good thing for Bitcoin. So I would say let's experiment with that, but also let's be careful not to dilute our main goal, at least the way I see it, to develop just money to pay for things and pay for services rather than exchange one type of money for another type of money.
Yeah. Indeed. Yeah. That's very important. Well, another thing that's important is where the Lightning node is running on, because as the Lightning network grows, it may become infeasible for each node to store a full network snapshot. Although the current Lightning network size doesn't sound like a lot by modern hardware standards, if we expect Lightning to grow by orders of magnitude, the source routing may become challenging. And we want Lightning to work even on an Internet of Things device with a tiny battery, a little storage. Do you think a Lightpeer is an example of a possible algorithm for alternative efficient route discovery?
So the way I think about it is that this graph growth problem is not the most immediately urgent problem right now, but it can be potentially if we envision Lightning growth. And there are multiple approaches to it, but basically it boils down to, okay, now the sender constructs the whole route. Therefore, the sender must have the whole snapshot. But if we outsource the route construction to some specialized nodes or some trusted nodes, then only they could store the entire snapshot, and the end node only could store the path to that specialized node. But then the question, of course, is, do we trust this node? How do we trust this node? How to make it as trustless as possible? How to make this specialized node be as, preserve our privacy and all that stuff. And one of the approaches is outlined in the paper that you mentioned, Lightpeer or Lightpeer, that I read recently, and I summarize it in my blog that listeners might refer to. So basically, it's a recent academic paper that combines some cryptographic construction called private information retrieval, hence the abbreviation PIR, to Lightning search discovery. And the idea is interesting in general, but I see multiple potential roadblocks or multiple assumptions that they make in the paper that make this protocol not immediately applicable. So if we wanted to implement it in the real network, we would have to do lots of extra work to bring it closer to what the actual implementation can contain. So this is an interesting approach, and the cryptography around that is also quite interesting. I'm not going to go into much detail, but just the general idea of private information retrieval is that apparently a user can send some request to a database, and the database can return some encrypted data such that the user can reconstruct the answer to the user's question locally, but the database doesn't know what the question was or what the answer was. So apparently it's possible with cryptography, but it's very inefficient in the default implementation. Then we can do lots and lots of middle, what would we call it? Middleware or something, something that connects this kind of theoretical research result and practical implementation. It's a long way to go, but it may be an interesting approach potentially in the future.
Yeah, certainly. And this year I attended the Chaincode Labs Lightning seminar. This was a great experience for me and also for all other participants. And in week 4 and 5, we covered all limitations of Lightning, and we just talked about some of them, and also the future with the developments of L2. And it again became clear to me that there's a lot of work to do and still on the Lightning network, but also that the developments are going very fast. Is there enough new growth, do you think, of developers to continue to enhance the Lightning network in the near future, or do we need some extra patience or something?
Yeah, of course, extra patience never hurts, especially in the Bitcoin space where we prioritize most of all the security of the protocol and doing things right rather than doing things fast, as many other projects do in the blockchain space and just in general in the startup space. We do need extra developers, of course, and I think Chaincode Labs, among others, does a great job. They help run the Lightning and Bitcoin seminars that you mentioned, the programs like Summer of Bitcoin, where they invite developers, they invite students from colleges to help them learn about Bitcoin. There is a project called Kala, targeted at African developers to join the ecosystem as well. So that work is going on, and I hope to see many more new developers and researchers. Many of the potential Lightning improvements, like the L2 project that you mentioned depend on the modifications in Bitcoin Core, what is called Zcash no input or related soft fork proposals for Bitcoin Core. And we all know that soft forks in Bitcoin can take years, and it's a very slow process, and for good reason. But still, there are potentially many years ahead before we see L2 implemented. In some sense, L2 may be not a replacement, but rather an addition to the current Lightning protocol, because they have different economic properties. L2 doesn't involve punishment, but it's more kind of lightweight, while the current Lightning protocol is more demanding, but it is more economically, I would say, motivated, right? Because you get punished when you do bad things.
Yeah, indeed.
But even in the current state of Bitcoin, the underlying layer 1 network, we have lots of work to do on Lightning. The problems that we briefly mentioned, like the Probin attack and the Gemin attack,
or the Grief attack,
taking advantage of Schnorr signatures with PTLCs. All these ideas have been around for years, but someone must implement them and test them and merge them, and this work takes many months, if not years. So I welcome all new developers, and if any of the listeners want to join, you can contact me or contact Chaincode Labs, and we can get you started.
Yeah.
Well, I highly recommend following the course also, and indeed.
Hey, and I hate a TikTok, so I wanted to ask another question to Sergei. Hey, Rene Pickard opened up an issue on Bolt's GitHub about possibility of probing both directions of a channel as soon as he receives a channel announcement message, because initially the entire balance of the channel would be on one side, and that a node would be then be the initiator. In your abstract of your research, you talk about several countermeasures. One of them was unannounced channels. Is this issue, Rene points to a problem that is also part of the research?
Yeah, I would say it's more of a special case, because what Rene points out is that we can kind of protect the channel, because if it's not rebalanced, it's easier to probe. But then even if we rebalance the channels, fundamentally, it's also possible to probe it after it is rebalanced. So basically, it's a special case, and a more generic rebalancing protocol, just-in-time routing, also invented by Rene, could also be helpful here. But again, we don't have universal countermeasure against probing, but some countermeasures may be quite useful in practice.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
thanks.
Yeah. Well, we had a lot of more questions, also technical questions.
Yes.
But we would like to ask them another time if you're up to it and want to join our show again. That would be great.
That would be a pleasure.
All right.
Thanks for now, Sergei.
And
we have one question left for you, Sergei. We have last week we had Adam Curry in the show. He's the podfather and advocate for value. And we asked Adam to come up with a question for you. So let's start the audio file, Edward, and then Sergei may answer it.
Is it true that I am much more anonymous making a transaction over the Lightning Network than I am versus an on-chain payment? And is it traceable all the way back to where I got the original on-chain Bitcoin, I guess is my question. And is it traceable from both ends with the way the Lightning Network functions? So, Sergei, I hope you understand what I'm asking here. It's one of those things that people always ask.
Okay, so a few questions there. Again, no easy answers, unfortunately. I would say that the baseline for Lightning privacy is higher than for on-chain privacy, at least because we don't broadcast our transaction to everyone. But again, even if you're paying with Lightning, you have to be careful. You have to understand, for example, who you are connected to. I don't know, if you're using a mobile wallet, this mobile wallet by default opens a channel to that provider's node. It's highly likely that that node provider can track your payments, because it's pretty much sure that you are the ultimate sender. So there are many kind of gotchas to that. And regarding the question of whether it's possible to track the origins of the UTXO, if you open the channel, then the channel ID that would be broadcast in the Lightning peer-to-peer network is currently derived from the specific UTXO that was used to open this channel. So it's kind of possible to track the origins of the channel if you see it on the Lightning graph. But if you have a private channel, or if someone routes through you, again, it's not that visible. So I would say that Lightning provides us with a very good fundamental basis to build a much more private system than Bitcoin, but it's a work in progress. And it should be more private, but you shouldn't probably rely on Lightning privacy for life and death issues, you should be careful. But for casual payments, I think it's generally better than lay one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Indeed. And next time we have a new guest. Her name is Olga Yukulova. She's the co-founder and COO of Pandora Core, developing second-layer solutions for scalable smart contracts with RGB. And she also works for the LNPBP Standards Association and mycitadel.io. We want her to ask a question for her. Can we have a question from you for her?
Sure. Based on the topic we discussed previously, I would ask if we develop a vibrant DeFi DEX ecosystem like the one that exists on top of Ethereum, based on RGB, Lightning, or other related protocols, and would have a lot of trading activities and trading all types of various tokens on top of Bitcoin or Lightning, would it be a good thing for Bitcoin in general, as envisioned by Satoshi?
Yeah.
Cool.
Straight to the core. So yeah, great. Thanks.
Connectez le monde.
And thanks for being in the show, Sergei.
Thank you very much for the questions.
Again.
Really, thanks.
Hey,
it was an interesting talk.
Where can people follow you, Sergei? Do you have maybe a Twitter where they can follow you, or a GitHub, or?
I do have a Twitter. I think the easiest way to find me would be to go on the Chaincode Labs website team, and then just find me and all the links from there.
Cool.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, we have a lot of developers also in our community. So if they have a question or something, then
and if they are searching for a job, we will also send them to you, Sergei.
All right. Well,
thank you very much, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah,
you're welcome. And thanks for listening. And thanks to all members participating in the Satoshi Radio Rings of Fire. And of course, thanks to everyone helping to connect the world with us. If you like our content, please support us in our mission. Visit our website, connecttheworld.live, where you can donate, and subscribe, like, and share our content on your favorite platform or Podcasting 2.0. We need you to complete our mission, connect the world. So keep those nodes running, sats flowing, and rings burning. And see you all next week with Olga Yukulova on this same Lightning channel. Do sviđenja, Sergei.
See you later.
Ciao.
Ciao.